Alright guys, welcome back to another Fortnite video, and in this one it is time for my week 4 challenges guide. That is right, I'm going to be showing you how to do the search buried treasure challenge, where to find that stuff, where to find the secret banner for this week as well as tips and tricks and of course secrets for all of the other challenges too, such as the one where you have to outlive 90 opponents. I'll show you some tips, tricks, and secrets in order to help you get done with these challenges as fast as possible. So yeah guys, if you enjoyed today's video or find these guides helpful and you want to help support me, you can do so by using my supporter creator code TheLlamaSir. That's TheLlamaSir, and I seriously appreciate it a ton, and huge thanks to all of you who have been supporting me. I appreciate it a lot. Now on top of that guys, be sure to hit that like button down below as well if you enjoy these guides. That helps out as well and encourages me to make more of these guides every single week. And then also with that, leave a comment down below of what tier you guys are at so I can get a better idea of how far along you guys are within the challenges. And like for example, I am at tier 67, but again I did get the battle bundle at the start to give me a little bit of a head start, but I'm curious to see where you guys are at. But yeah guys, without further ado, let's jump on into it here. First of all, with the quick overview of this week's challenges, for those of you who aren't home to see them, whether or not you're at school or stuff like that, these are the challenges for this week and the ones we're going to be covering. But of course I'm going to be showing you the location of the secret banner for the loading screen challenge. So this week it is not a star, but they're kind of like the similar challenge, so they go hand in hand. It's just this week it's not a star, it's a banner. Now as for the challenges themselves, we have got get an elimination with a suppressed weapon and a scoped weapon, launch yourself through structures with a pirate cannon, got some tips of how to do that one super easily, land at location stages, search buried treasure, again I'll show you how to do that, outlast 90 opponents in a single match, got some good tips and tricks for that one as well to make it super easy, and eliminate opponents at Pleasant Park or Happy Hamlet and use the baller in different matches. And for that one I'm going to be showing you a bunch of the locations of the baller so you guys know like where to go and where to easily find these. But yeah guys, let's go ahead and jump into it with the first challenge I want to go over, and that is launching yourself through structures with a pirate cannon. Now this by itself is definitely a pretty interesting challenge and is honestly quite fun. It's a lot easier than, you know, hitting somebody with a pirate cannon. And by the way, if you still need that, that's obviously in one of my weekly challenge guides from the past. But yeah, launching yourself through structures. Now basically the way that I would recommend going about this one is just simply landing somewhere with obviously a pirate cannon, but I would go to a couple specific places. Obviously the pirate camps are good, but some of them are fairly small and don't have a ton of structures. Like for example, the one near the volcano doesn't have a ton of structures around it. So like for example, the main locations I would recommend are the one near Fatal Fields, the one between Fatal Fields and Paradise Palms, also the one near Dusty Divot, and probably honestly the best one, this is the one I recommend going to for sure, is Lazy Lagoon, since that's obviously a town, and also you have cannons at the pirate ship and also in the town. So for example, I would recommend going there. And then like as you can see here, this is just an example in Playground to show you like what I'm talking about. But if you land at the pirate ship, you can just keep launching yourself within the pirate ship to destroy structures, and I'm pretty sure these structures count. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. But if you continue to go back and forth, like aiming at the floor of the pirate ship too, if you aim too high you might, you know, launch yourself out of the pirate ship. But as long as you keep going back and forth, you know, there's plenty of cannons to fire yourself back and forth. So that's the way I recommend doing it, and honestly you can get it done pretty easily that way. Now then after that guys, one of the tougher challenges I want to go over with you guys, in case you have a tough time, you know, getting to top 10 and stuff like that, is the outlast 90 opponents in a single match. However, there is still some fairly easy ways to go about getting into top 10. And actually, now that I think about it, getting to top 10 might not outlast 90 opponents. It depends on how many people are in your game. So if it's less than 100, obviously top 10 isn't going to be outlasting 90 opponents. So something to keep in mind right there. So let's go over some of those tips and tricks right here. Now the first piece of advice I can give you for this one is the pretty obvious one, and then we'll move into some other stuff. But basically, don't go to like any hot drop type locations. It's a lot easier to, you know, outlast opponents if you go somewhere where there's not a lot of opponents and let the other people fight it out. So basically you can land like somewhere towards the edge of the map, get loot, get materials. You're definitely gonna still want loot and materials obviously, but then on top of that, something that I really recommend, and this is something that, you know, has even been useful in like gauntlet games, is to use the baller. That is right guys, so make sure you go to one of these locations. And also if you're doing this, you can work on one of the later challenges that we're going to talk about. Actually it's the challenge right after this with the baller and stuff like that, but you can work on this challenge with that challenge as well, because obviously you need to use the baller in different matches, so I mean you might as well. Now with that being said, with the baller what you can do is, you know, follow the circle in, and then, you know, just slowly make your way around until you get to outlast 90 opponents. You can still get in fights if you want, but if you simply want to, you know, outlast opponents, that's a strategy you can use. You can even go into like the center of some of the later circles and box up, put your baller baller at the bottom, and then as soon as the next circle spawns, you can use your baller and keep repeating that process. And if you have a sniper, you can maybe pick some people off when you're in your 1x1. But getting into it with the next challenge I want to go over, as I said, the next challenge here is the one where you have to use the baller vehicle in different matches. So basically the tip I can give you about this one is, well, two different things mainly. The first of which is to again try and do it with the Outlast 90 opponents challenge, so that you're working on 2 challenges at once and saving time in doing so. But if you finish the Outlast 90 opponents one and you still need more of these, basically, you know, try and do it with some of your other challenges as well. Now with that being said, the main important thing about this is knowing where the ballers mostly spawn. So for example, here is a map of some of the locations. As you can see, the red arrows are the locations that generally spawn more of these, and then the white arrows are the ones that, you know, sometimes spawn them, sometimes don't. They're mostly the pirate camps, and also the pirate ship has a couple that can spawn, but keep in mind that those locations don't always spawn them. It just kind of depends. So yeah guys, overall though, it's a pretty easy challenge. Keeping it going here with the next challenge though, this is the search buried treasure challenge, which at first may seem a little bit tough, but don't worry, it's actually pretty easy, considering that it actually has to do with an item, and it's not like you have to go around the map finding specific search buried treasure things. If you know what I'm talking about, it's not like last week where you had to find a star. This is actually using the new buried treasure item. Now with that being said, you may be thinking, oh, that's pretty easy actually. Well, we can actually make it easier if we use a couple of tips and tricks, so let's go ahead and jump into those. So basically guys, starting off here, you're going to want to do Team Rumble. No, I'm kidding, you're actually not going to want to do Team Rumble. At least I would recommend not doing it, because one of the ways that I end up finding, you know, the buried treasure map type item, whatever you want to call it, the way that I find these the most is actually by getting them off of other players a lot of the time. So if you're doing Team Rumble or something like that, obviously you can't eliminate other players and get their loot. So I would recommend solo, duos, squads, whatever you want to do. And if you're doing like squads, this might be one to, you know, use party assist on. I think you can use it for this one. If you can't, I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a helpful one to have. But basically, yeah, you're going to want to find a treasure map, whether on the map by looting or by getting it from another player. Now I actually recommend dropping towards the jungle area, and the reason I recommend this is because there is so much mobility around there. So when you find a treasure map, you can simply use one of the volcano vents, you can use one of the cannons, you can use a vehicle to get around. And especially with like the volcano vents, if you pull out the map and then use it, the location of it will still show up, so you can simply glide over there, and then once you're at one of the locations, simply box yourself up and you know, get the treasure, and then you'll be working towards that challenge. So overall guys, really not that hard. Now keeping it going here with the next challenge I want to cover, and that is the get an elimination with a suppressed weapon and a scoped weapon. Now this one also is very straightforward. However, let's real quick go over the weapons that you can obviously use for this. So for the suppressed ones, obviously you have the suppressed pistol, the suppressed version of the AR, and also the suppressed submachine gun. So those are the 3 ones that you can use. Maybe I'm forgetting one, but those are the main ones. So be sure to pick one of those up. And then for the scoped weapons, obviously you have the sniper rifles, and you also have the suppressed sniper rifle, which I forgot to add to the last one, but that actually might count for both. I'm not exactly sure, but hey, that's something to keep in mind. But on top of that, you also have the scoped AR, which can definitely be probably the best for this, if I'm being honest. And then on top of that, you also have the scoped revolver, and maybe the thermal assault rifle too. I think that one might count, but yeah, those are the ones that you mainly want to focus on to help you get this done. Now, of course, I would recommend Team Rumble for this, simply because obviously if you get eliminated, you don't lose your weapons, you get to respawn and continue trying on this challenge. So by far, that is the best game mode for this. So yeah, but then for the challenge after that, you also have land at location stages. Now this one I'm not going to talk about really much at all, because it is so easy. The only tip I really can give you for this one is to maybe work on other challenges with it as well, since you do have to do it in separate games, I'm pretty sure. Well, each stage. So maybe couple it with the baller one, you know, stuff like that. But overall, yeah, this one is pretty easy. But then moving on to the next challenge I want to talk about, this one is the secret banner or secret star type challenge. I say secret star type challenge because they're sort of like very, very similar and they get confused a lot. So if you were looking for the star challenge for this week, there isn't one this week, but instead it's the banner challenge. So instead of finding a star, you find a secret banner, you know, hidden in the loading screen for this week. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. But either way, I know the location of the banner, and hey, it's a free banner, so you might as well get it. Now, before we get into it, guys, if you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because I post these guides every single week, giving you tips and tricks and secrets to help you get done with the challenges as fast as possible. And if you don't want to miss my guides, being subscribed and having notifications turned on is the best way to know about them. But yeah, guys, getting back into the challenge itself, since it is a loading screen challenge, before the banner even shows up on the map, you are going to have to complete some challenges first. Now, since it is the week for loading loading screen, you're going to need to complete 4 total weeks of challenges. You know, like how each week has 7 challenges. You're going to need to complete those 7 in any 4 weeks. I don't believe it matters which weeks, since this is simply like the week 4 loading screen challenge. But if you're watching this video the day I'm uploading it, you know, obviously just complete the 4 weeks of challenges you have available to you before this will even show up on the map. But anyways, once you have that stuff done, as you guys know, there's usually a clue hidden within the loading screen, and the loading screen has been floating around a lot on Reddit and Twitter, stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that the location of it is up near the volcano in the jungle biome. Now, it's not inside of the volcano. We did have one there previously, but it's actually, I believe, on the side of it. So if you go to the side of the volcano, honestly, you can just go here like at the start of a game, but you want to go specifically to this, like, you know, stone thing, lantern, whatever you want to call it, you know, fire, whatever, and it should be right on the side of this right here. So go up to that, it should show up, and you can pick it up and get this challenge done. Now, for some reason, the location of that moves. Again, I'm pretty sure it's there, but if for some reason it moves, simply check the pinned comment down below for updates, but I do believe it should show up right where I showed you. But yeah, guys, moving on to the final challenge I want to go over in today's video. It's fairly easy as well, but it is eliminate opponents at Happy Hamlet or Pleasant Park. Now, for this one, I would recommend, you know, in terms of the game mode, definitely doing solo. That's what I recommend and what I personally prefer when it comes to these challenges, simply because you don't have to worry about knocking someone and them possibly getting revived, and if you're playing solo, you know, solo just makes sense. Now, with that being said, as for the locations, they're fairly different. Now, I would say that Happy Hamlet, depending on where the bus path is probably going to be a little more quiet, so if that's your thing, definitely try out Happy Hamlet. But if you want to get this challenge done fast, Pleasant Park is always pretty busy, but on top of that, it's also a little bit more open. But yeah, both locations should be good. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's guide. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more guides like this coming out in the near future. On top of that, you can check out some of my previous videos here, such as on the left, my week 3 challenges guide if you still need that, and then on the right, some update news and stuff in my previous video. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.